Hello, this video is all about the importance of reading to your child, and this can start as early as when your child is a baby. Reading daily to young children can help with language acquisition and literacy skills. And even though you might not think that a baby is able to understand what you're reading, they still enjoy the time spent with you and looking at pictures. And also, the sooner they start hearing the words, the more they will be able to take in. I think children, when they're learning language, need to hear a word at least 50 times before they really acquire that word in their memory. So reading is a really good way to get all those words and language in. Reading to your child stimulates the part of the brain that allows them to understand the meaning of language and helps build key language literacy and social skills. And it's proven to improve and help along the process of cognitive development. And cognitive development is the emergence of the ability to think and understand. It's the construction of thought processes, including remembering, problem solving, and decision making from childhood right the way through to adulthood. So the more adults read aloud to their children, the larger their vocabularies become, and the more they will know and understand about the world and their place in it, assisting their cognitive development and perception. So if you read just one book a day, they will have been read 1,825 books by the time they are 5. Imagine how many words they will have read if you read just one book a day. So if you read 5 books a day, they will have heard over 1.4 million words, more words than a child who doesn't get read to at all. So this breaks down to 1 book a day exposes a child to 78,000 words a year, which is still an incredible amount of words for them to be able to hear. And if we remember that a child needs to hear that word 50 times before they acquire that word in their memory bank, it's just amazing what reading 1 book a day can do. So the Book Trust there is a website called the Book Trust, and they have some great tips and suggestions on what you can do to get your child reading a little bit more. And actually, for young children, it's more about what we read to them, using a great range of books as well. So I like the Julia Donaldson books because they're rhyming books and they have some lovely pictures in, but there are some really, really lovely authors. And even if you think about Eric Carle as an author, his books came out, or some of his earliest books came out in the 1980s, but they are still classic books which are enjoyed by children today. For example, The Hungry Caterpillar. So, there are some lovely books that were written a long time ago that are still really current and still really enticing for children, just as much as some of the newer authors and books that are out now. There's no right or wrong way to read to your child. It's just about what fits in with you. I think it's never too early to start. Babies can be read to right from an early age. My nephew was read to from being a baby. He had a story read to him every single day, and he still does now. He's 3 now, and reading is a really big part of his life now. He loves just going independently to pick books out. He doesn't always need mummy to read the books. He can now read the books by himself if he wants to, just by looking at the pictures. You can ask your child what they want to read as well. By asking your child what they want to read, or choosing books, if you go to the library, or for example when you're at nursery or in reception, but in your child choosing a book, that's going to make it more enjoyable for them because they've chosen it and that's what they want to listen to. Sometimes children do have a favourite book as well. I know we've had a few parents in the past that absolutely despair when their child comes home with a certain book because they've read it 100 times. But actually this is really, really, really good that a child has a favourite book, because that repetition gets them used to the structure of a book, and also, again, it's thinking about the language and thinking how many times that child needs to hear certain words before they acquire that language. The best thing to do if you're sitting reading with your child is just make sure that the TV's turned off, the radio's turned off, computer's turned off, and there's no background noise, because if there's any background noise that's coming from electrical goods such as TV, computers and such, it makes it harder for a child to be able to hear the words spoken, but also as the person reading the story, it can be a little bit distracting. So best thing is just to have a quiet time, turn everything off, and just concentrate on the story. Sit close together, so make sure you're cuddled up and you can both see the book. It just makes it a nice, calming, close time for you and your child. They can also hold the book and turn the pages as well if they want to. Have a look at the pictures as well. Talk about the pictures. You don't necessarily have to read the words in the book. You can just talk about the pictures, and your child might enjoy guessing what's going to happen next. So if you, for example, are if you're from a different country and you can speak English okay, but you might not be able to read the words okay, then don't worry. Just sharing that book with your child and talking about the pictures is going to be just as effective as actually reading the words. So don't be afraid to borrow some of the English books. You can share the book with your child in your home language, just by interpreting the pictures if you're not confident with the story. You can ask questions and talk about the book. So picture books are a great way to talk through your child's fears and worries, or to help them with their emotions. You can give them space to talk, ask them about how they feel about the situations in the story as well. So if maybe a character's feeling a bit sad, you can ask them why they feel that character's feeling sad, and what they could do to make them happy, or if there's a problem, what could they do to solve the problem. Have fun with it as well. There's no right or wrong way to share a story, and don't be afraid to act out the situations in the story, and also use silly voices. Children love silly voices. Don't be afraid to put on the silly voices, because your child will absolutely love it. Aim to set aside about 5 to 10 minutes every day. Some parents prefer to read a story as part of the bedtime routine. So after a bath or a shower, and the child's got pajamas on, ready for bed. A lot of parents use that time just before bed as the calm story reading session, and then they go off to bed nice and chilled. And don't forget that you can borrow books from nursery and reception. We don't sign them out, so you don't need to worry about finding us to sign off a bit of paper. Just change the book at the beginning of the session or at the end, and just take it home and share the book with your child. And when you've finished, you bring the book back in and you can swap it. And don't forget as well that we have got a local library. It's Battle Library on Oxford Road up near Tesco's. And if you sign up for membership, you can take out books. I don't know what the limit is on the books, but you can take some books out and do the same at home. You read them at home and then you take them back and you can swap some more. And obviously they've got a big selection of books as well. So that's it. You can, if you want to, because we at nursery reception, sometimes we use puppets to tell stories as well. So we might have, we have actually got some puppet baskets. So things like the Three Billy Goats Gruff and Goldilocks and Three Bears, Three Little Pigs, all those sorts of stories we've got puppets for, so we use those to help tell the story. And then when the children get used to hearing the story over and over and over, sometimes what they do is they will get the puppets and they will tell the story without actually needing the storybook. So you know, you can use puppets at home if you want to. They don't have to be relative to the story. It could be a teddy bear telling the story, but sometimes it just adds that little extra dimension to storytelling. And I think that's about it. So if you can get your child to sit with you for one story a day, then that is great. Imagine all the words that they're going to be learning, and just think about the facts that I was giving you at the beginning. So if they hear one book a day, from when they're little, they will have heard 1,825 books by the time they are 5. So get reading, everyone, and I hope that when you come into nursery and reception that you are going to borrow some of our books and have a nice read. So thank you for listening, everyone. Goodbye.